Do you have YouTube open?
I have it open on the live tab of your profile.
Okay. And are we live? I think it says upcoming. Okay.
Something says on air. Let's assume we are live.
Oh, we are live.
Oh, you are live.
Okay.
Awesome.
So I guess hello everybody.
Hello everybody. Yeah.
So the kind of chaotic intro to all of this was because we are trying out something called video.ninja instead of using StreamYard, and I'm streaming through OBS on my computer, and I'm plugging Steve into that, and then and then we are going up to YouTube. Hopefully, we don't know.
We do.
And is audio coming through as well?
Wait. Yes.
Do we have?
Good.
We have audio? Oh wait.
Yes. Yeah, we have. I just checked it with a. Yes,
right.
I watch ourselves.
Yes,
that's very important.
That's
direct feedback. We are doing agile here, so our release cycle is very thin.
Absolutely.
It's like I don't know what the delay is, like 20 seconds or so. So basically, yeah. No. Yes. So finally we did it. Maybe you also.
It looks like the quality is slightly better, right? It's HD.
Yes,
1080p,
I do think
60
so.
frames per second. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to tweet out that we are live.
Let's go. For yeah. I was like, dear viewer, if you notice, normally we have this 30 seconds rundown. Yeah, we didn't do that.
Nothing like that set up yet. Dev session on
one step at a time. One step at a time. So,
yeah.
I hope from now onwards, so depending on how we do it, we should have now 180p as our resolution instead of 720p, which obviously, should make a lot of things better. I also believe
plus 60 frames per second, right? So it
no,
actually
I guess
is 60.
30.
No,
Is it?
Well, I just I'm streaming and I'm making my 16 core CPU work for its money right now.
That is so I like that.
Yeah.
I am sure because when I joined the how's it called this tool we are using, it showed me I can only share my screen and everything with 30. Yeah, it's also video settings is 1920 times 1080 at 30 frames per second. So while you are streaming at 60, you get just 30 frames of my screen, but your video has 60 frames.
Yes, and I do think there were some options in here. So let me pull this over. This is the sort of admin dashboard I had, and there's a whole bunch of this can call video playback to lag. So so you can see this is my dashboard, and I was just looking at this and trying to see, well, how can I make you hear what I'm saying? And then I had to actually, well, I really just started playing around with this an hour ago. So there's probably an option for me to talk to the guests we have right here, so I don't have to also go in and set up convoluted things where this is my virtual camera from OBS, and then is me sharing my screen, not through OBS because I wanted high quality for Steven to see what I'm coding on and stuff. So there's a whole bunch of options, but this basically looks like an open source version of, it looked kind of cool actually, and so it looks like and I guess I'm sharing our password live on stream, which is a bad thing. Damn it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know. Can I change the password? No.
I guess we have to make a new room the next time. Isn't that like? Yeah. If you wouldn't have said it, probably no one would have noticed.
Oh, we'll see if somebody jumps in and starts adding to the stream.
Taking over the screen.
Yeah, they won't show up, but I guess I'll.
Yeah. If so, I'm only slightly related to the scam they will introduce to you. Slightly.
Yeah, exactly.
I just have like this typical 10 to 15% margin of their earnings.
Yeah. Well, the reasonable amount of margin, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I know you have. Well, we got started quite late, and because of me trying to hack together something in OBS, just as an alternative. So well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, but I do think once you get this somewhat working, I do think it's a cool solution.
Yeah,
Which gives you a lot of flexibility and.
yeah.
Oh, by the way,
And
I don't think you shared your screen on stream.
Oh,
Wait.
well, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. I didn't pull it in. I only showed it to you. So no. So now no, well, I don't want to
I
do
know
it
the
now
password.
because yeah. So yeah, okay. So nope, folks, I can't show you what we're doing, but it's a video.
It's crazy.
I can show the video.ninja. I can show that side. So this is very, but it's like peer to peer. Like Steven's connected directly to me through the magic of web video thing in the browser. So so there's no intermediate server, and that's why it's free, and it's just it's on GitHub and all the. So yeah, I'm genuinely impressed with what this can do for free. So yeah.
Yes.
Anyway. Let's. I think we were in the middle of of something when we had to stop last time at bUnit wise.
Yes.
Oh, and we have a whole bunch of. Oh, it's just dependencies. Well, leave that for another time. Yeah. So, and let me see if I can remind myself what was going on here. Yeah, we were trying to.
Did some refactoring. That's
yeah.
That's so. What I remember is basically the component state thing, where we had an initial working set, and then it's only 7 days. That has only 7 days. And last week, I know we refactored some code, and to be honest, I do not know the start of the journey anymore.
No.
What was the trigger?
Let me pull this thing in here. We have a vib commit, which is very descriptive. So yes, kudos to us for having good names. Let me see if I can get my zoom on here.
That's why I encourage everyone to learn stuff like CLI or good tools for Git, where you can just squash commits or amend commits.
Oh yeah. No, it's not. That's not really the issue here.
Hide.
Can I?
Your little mistakes, like Bob Ross would say.
Yeah. Where is the Windows stop? Go away. I just want to show. There's a layout button. I'm trying to find the. Oh, here we have appearance vertical. There we go. So I can zoom in more and make it such that you guys can actually see.
I know. Yeah, it's so good that you.
This was our vib thing. We were doing a bunch of things. We wanted
to have the span of components to know where, in the markup, where is my component under any component, doesn't matter.
Yeah, the full render tree, we want to do that one time. And then we want each component at some level to be able to go in and pick up their slice of that markup. And let's see, there's no on-state changes. Let me just go back in here and say I only want to see active branch, please. Otherwise, it's too hard to follow along. Let's reset back here. So we just have our changes. So there is some set mark indices. Indices. That's the word I'm probably looking for.
Yes. Indices?
Yes.
Index. Let's call it indexes. Last time I checked.
It's allowed.
Also new to me, but you can also, it's allowed, and that's easier to pronounce.
Okay.
So let's call multiple index.
There was some update markup, and where are we? We are in the renderer. Find components. Why?
Up.
So yeah, update markup is now just a. Why are we calling update markup in a render?
Find components.
Find component. I'm not sure I follow that. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Let's see.
I
Okay.
know that
Well,
where we left the stuff was this is dirty flag, and we were
yeah.
discussing whether or not. Basically, if a component is dirty,
I'm
then
going to
every
just.
parent component has to be dirty as well, because if your
Yeah.
output changes, the markers, at least the end marker of the parent, has to change as well, or probably changes as
Yeah.
well. That is where we left off. But I cannot tell you, for the love of God, why we put this update state or update markup in find components, because it should be the latest version
Yes.
anyway.
So I think we have this list of root components, and originally we had a list of component activator cache. It's static. So oh yeah, naming rule violation. I think, okay, let's jump down here to this section. Okay, so we get in here, we loop through our components, and the ones that we have the return components, rendered component IDs, the ones that have actually been returned, we're going to remove them from the list. Then we loop over all the, and let me know if the zoom is good enough, Stephen.
Yeah, for me, so that's the good thing. I hope also for the viewers it's good enough. So I cross-check always on YouTube and myself. I do think it's a big improvement. For me, it's very readable. The only thing, but I guess it's not so important, is your Solution Explorer on the left side is you have to zoom in a bit. But I guess that's not the
Well,
urgent thing right now.
what I can do is I do have a tool for that font resizer, and I can increase the environment font. So it'll.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's already good enough, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
So, okay. So what we do here is we loop through this. We say for each updated component, we go and get the rendered component, the component state out. We update the render count. Then if we mark it as dirty because it's been touched somehow, then we go to its root and say you're also dirty. Now here we tell each of our root components that are dirty to update their markup. So we only want to update the markup for the root component. Now, for this to work, we also need to tell each of its child components that we've actually returned that, hey, you have some markup that you also need to tell the world about. So I think for each over var collection of, and that would be returned rendered component IDs, I guess.
No, wait. Before you do that, one question. Now you introduce probably a slight different order of events than on V1. So what you're doing right now is, in 80% of the cases, it probably doesn't matter, but imagine you have now two root components. So you call context.render and you have two markups, doesn't matter. Now you basically tell the world, hey, the root has changed, and afterwards you go every root element, and then it's just children. Wasn't it different before? So do we change the order of events? So markup updated and render up, not render updated, render changed event? Those two events we offer.
Yeah, I'm
because they are invoked right now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I can get the build going. If I was fairly certain we left it in a state last Friday where it actually built.
Wait, let me.
Oh no, I know. I keep opening the wrong version of Visual Studio. So we want preview.
You need
to
preview.
We're doing .NET 9. Yeah, and why are you?
Oh, I can tell exactly. I can tell you it is possible to compile.
Does chat? Hey YouTube, does chat work? So I think I've sent something to YouTube, but I'm not sure. Let's. Alrighty then. Zoop, zoop, zoop. Okay, and now I need to do my zoomy again.
Oh
no.
I lied. We have two.
Yes,
it's just warnings.
We have link.net saying hi. So link.net, and that's you. So yeah, we're talking to ourselves. Yes. That's excellent. Excellent. Okay, let's see if we can get a build going here. in preview. Yes, come on, Visual Studio. You can do it.
That poor CPU right now, huh, has to do so much work.
I think it's supposed to, let's have a look actually. Let's see what's going on.
I don't think. I mean, yes, compiling.
It's not too bad.
Oh yeah,
it's not too bad. I want to see what about my GPU though is doing a bunch of work because it's handling all the encoding, which is nice.
Yeah.
So that's I guess the advantage of using something like OBS is that OBS will happily use the GPU for encode and stream out. Whereas when you just do it through the browser, then everything is left to the CPU to do its work, and everything runs slow, right? But I do think also if you go to processes here.
Maybe that changes also in the future with web GPU.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I guess actually it does build. Okay, so.
Yeah. It's typical. I have everything in release, so if you have warnings, then it crashes.
Yeah.
It doesn't crash. It's just 0.
No, it's just we are using what's it called again? Treat warnings as errors when we are in release mode. So that means if there's any warnings from our analyzers or somewhere else, we will our code will not build, and that's definitely on purpose. It does help keep the quality of the code. Now, so I think if we run the tests, we will see some failure. Let's give it a go anyway. And there might even be some that don't really complete, which makes sense. So let's, yes and no to some extent. Let's go in and find a very simple.
Yeah, I mean the wait force, they might take.
Yeah,
forever.
the wait force will take 30 seconds or so to complete. Let me just run this and see if there's something in here that actually does run to completion. I want one test that is simple. Let's see, default timeout. I think we had something like that. If we turn that way down from 30 seconds, is it on test context? No, it's wait for.
It's default wait timeout equals time span from seconds. If you just look for time span from seconds 30, you exactly.
Yeah, here we go. And is this the only place we set that? Let me just go and have a look.
No, there are multiple places, just that you know.
Yeah, let me.
There are like 5, 6 places or 6 places.
Yeah. And let me just. Oh, dang it! I wanted to go in here and say find all references, pop it out in here. Then I can just do. Here we go. Go to it. Comment out. And like this, and finally down here. Did I miss one? I think I missed this one. I did. Okay. So now it shouldn't take forever for the test to complete. I'm gonna turn down my light ever so slightly. I'm blinding myself over here. Come on. So I'm wondering.
Also have to stand a bit.
Yeah. So to some extent, I'm a bit surprised that there are even tests that are passing.
Really? We have tests which are doing nothing with the renderer, so I'm not really that surprised.
Well, at 3,300, so definitely rendering tests in here as well. So I'm more looking to see if I can find a pattern for why some tests are failing but others are not. But let's see if we can find generator test. Probably not that.
Why are they failing? They should not fail.
I think you might have some. Let's see. Let's see if we can find a simple one. That's what I'm looking for. Gear render test.
That the wheel's yielding. Oh, that task delay. Yeah, they are not that trivial. Renders T component. That render tree. I like that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh.
I don't think that was on purpose. So we are adding a cascading value, then we have something that receives cascading value. Okay. And we want the instance value to be full. So if we go into this.
Okay, that seems fair.
That seems not too.
But it picks up the cascading value, sets it to an internal parameter, and then.
And why did you fail?
Insert that.
Show in Test Explorer. Can this ever happen? Okay, so we have an.
Well, it seems like yes.
That's probably
our debug assert.
Yeah, we have a debug assert somewhere. Let me just run the test in debug mode so we can actually go to that debug assert failing. Okay. Yeah, okay, so I guess it can be updated and have. So our. No, yeah. Go. Come on, Visual Studio. Let me cancel.
No, you are absolutely not allowed.
Okay, so the UI is completely messed up here. But yeah, no.
Interesting. So that's good because that gives us so before we refactored that code, we just put this condition everywhere in just to tell the component, hey, are there really any changes? Do you have to update your markup? My question here is, what paths will lead to updated component without any edits? But maybe it's what we said last time, that, for example, you just post something, or you have cascading values. So if the parent somehow changes, obviously you have to change as well to get into a new render cycle. So you get the latest and greatest cascading parameter. What are you trying to do?
I think this picked up on the changes I did with the font resizing, but it's kind of messed up over in the preview version. So yeah, so let's just do debug last run. I have a breakpoint here, so instead of us hitting the debug assert, we will just see what we have in here. Okay, so let me have a breakpoint in here and see what do we have. So this is super small for you guys. I'm sorry about that. So we have edit component 1, component 3 and 4. So that's 4 components that changed. And we are inside the component of. So that's super big.
Yes, that's very nice, to be honest.
Yeah. No, that makes it usable, but there's other bits that aren't really adjusted. So this is just our bUnit root component. So let's step in there, and it doesn't have a root value because it is dirty itself. It is okay. The next one we have here, that would be the. What is
that's the component, huh?
That's the cascading value component here.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And you do not have a root either. Why do we not have a root?
Shouldn't this have a root now? That should have a root. Our own.
No, it's in the render. It's in the render tree next to it. Anywho, so here now, well, okay, component state container fragment doesn't have a root either.
Someone should have a root.
They should probably all be having a root. So yeah, Update markup is only called on root. Okay. So, but
Okay, that makes sense, huh?
sure, yeah, that's what
Can
we
we, can
want.
we...
But now I think the test actually passed. Let me just run all the tests again now that we've removed that debug assert. And we are running in parallel.
Yes.
Okay. So the amount of that's still running, I guess.
No, it's still running. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, removing that debug assert certainly helped with.
That's good because
Yeah.
our premise
function
was
fairy.
wrong.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me try to go.
And it showed that quite with a big bang.
Clear test results. Clear all results in Windows. Let me just collapse everything down.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's probably some of the async ones that are taking a bit time to run because they are not completing as they should. And I do think that makes sense because we are actually not telling the wait for helpers that, hey, this actually got done updating itself and re-rendered. So
Yeah.
all the wait fors are going to fail because we are not doing all the things we need to do yet. Now, I guess we can remove that.
But and we have two issues at the moment. Our root is not really set.
No.
That's issue 1.
So here we go in and generate new markup for our. So this is basically this update markup will just go into the root and say update markup, and it will generate the markup from the component and produce new markup. When we do that, we come in here and we have that update indices. So if we go in here and do that. So hang on. When I'm updating my indices, the components will be done, like all the markup that needs to be generated for that component, if we have an end for that component, will be available.
If we have an end, we will have an end.
Yes.
And not only that component, but also all its children.
Yes, exactly. I'm just. But the problem is, if we go here, we have set markup indices, which takes the result. The thing is, the result is a string builder, so it hasn't.
Why is it always starting from 0?
It's because it's the initial one here.
Okay.
I think that's another call to get set indices somewhere.
There should be an update display sync somewhere there.
Yeah, so there's 3 references to it. There's get rendered component, and we call set indices where we have start and end here as well.
Okay, yeah. Okay, fair. And that should,
but yeah, no, I guess my point is the problem is right now that if we go into rendered component and we have start and end indices, indexes, yeah. Okay.
Indices.
So,
I just checked it. Indices.
Yeah. I think now. Okay, if we let's do I will want to do, where is bUnit renderer here? Okay, let me just type out what we need to do. So and like so. So what do we need to do? Well, first we need to the order of things. Well, we need to update our yeah, so I'm still thinking whether or not this is even needed anymore. But let's so yeah. So when we do the update of markup, so that would basically be update markup, and then that includes updating each components. Let's call them RC for rendered components. Markup indices. So root, update markup, and we can have multiple root, and then that generates markup. Once that is done, so that would be a for each child. Yeah. Now, then I guess the root would also again for each child. So after we've done this, so what I'm trying to get is we will go through, like, render the full markup for the root, right? And then once we've done that, we need to basically tell all the children, hey, you may have new markup, right? Because like the whole root markup thing is updated. So each child should go and
yeah. But
so the idea is we don't want, if we want the same pattern as we had before. We don't want to go and tell our wait for, our async thing that are waiting for changes to happen. We don't want to go and tell that before we've finished generating the full markup. We don't want to go and tell any of the waiters that now there's new markup, because we could do it at the time where we call the set indices here, right? If we do it right here, like in theory, the markup,
and you know that your children are done.
Yeah, we know that component and its children's components are done, but there might be another component next to it in the render tree that hasn't been updated yet. And if the wait, we don't know the wait for behavior.
Plus, if we anyway now allow to traverse upwards the tree, that would not be great then. So while your children might be up to date, your parents for sure are not, or might not be updated.
Well, no, parents will be, because no, your parents might not be, because it's a child is a subset, but your siblings might not be, and your parents may not. Well, your parents are probably not.
For sure not if you trigger it there.
Exactly. So we would wait. Basically, we update all the children and say, hey, here's your new indices. Then we go through all the children that we have, at least the ones we've returned to the user, like the list of returned rendered component IDs. Those are the ones that we would tell afterwards, hey, if you are marked as being dirty, you probably want to tell any listeners you have that you've changed. You changed, man. I changed. So let's see if we can hack something together. So if we do loop over this, so this, after this completes, it's done rendering.
Can we check that update markup should not invoke any event? Can we check that for?
So let me go to definition. So this just, and
okay.
Honestly, what I probably want to do something like this. I probably want to take our friend here and say, I probably want to create a new internal sealed class, not sealed, just internal class. That would be rendered root component. Well, this can actually probably be sealed, and that would inherit from rendered component of
Checklist. No.
I guess
How we call it?
it
It's
would
not
always
called
be
bUnit.
bUnit root
Did we?
component.
Oh yeah, we renamed it.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this would be a guy or girl, depending on your gender of your objects. That has all the things, because it has a T component instance. Well, I guess this is going to be one of these fellas here. But let's go. This is the root component, and here we
Did you
have
copy paste everything in there?
I did on purpose. So this does not have a marker inside it. It doesn't have a latest render node. It does have a root, and that would be
This
one
one.
of these. If it has one,
It might just that you
might
know
be
that there's a
dirty.
small typo in component.
Oh no. Come here.
No. In the new introduced rendered root component.
I see. You're right. Oh no.
That was-
Rendered root component. There we go. Okay.
And
it
you
has
probably want to
this-
unseal the rendered component.
It has been unsealed. There we go. Yes. So there's some things in here that this will do. It will have update markup. It will have, I think,
It
why
will
is
also-
this marked as never?
Because if you, I did this. Because if you hover with the debugger, you evaluate ensure components initialize, how it was called, which materializes a list. And depending when you do this, you get in a weird state.
Yeah. Well, this won't have an update the basic. It will have
This it will have.
yes, disposed, perhaps, I guess disposed. Markup might be there. It won't have that.
Oh, yeah, it's a good question. Not for now, but we can also remove the dispose probably. But yeah, root.
Rendered root component.
Yeah, you have to set root. The root element is not a root rendered root component. Oh, it is. Interessant. But this one isn't.
That's because this is it. Well, the rendered doesn't need to have these. It can just be itself. Return.
I guess you can remove this because you already have it from rendered component, no?
It's this guy here. Yeah. You're right. It's you're right, absolutely right. This can also be removed up here. It doesn't have any indices. It does have some markup here that we want to return. It has the full markup, height inherited markup. It has its instance. Doesn't need to be.
Do we need this?
No, we don't need that. We
probably also don't need the events.
No render count either. We will want to have node render count.
Render count and stuff comes from the interface, and probably you still want that to the extent that if you traverse upwards the component tree, the render tree, that you still want to be able, even a user might want to be able to listen to those changes.
Yeah. Oh no, I did too much, man. I did too much. Actually, let me just undo all the way back here. Oh, the undo buffer said no. Okay, I'm back to where I started. Because this is yeah, I think it's fine that they overlap. Let me just start by okay. So here we do this. We say get rendered component ID. Pull that out. We get the render component. It's not the root anymore. It's just a rendered component. And now we can say so if it is marked as dirty, we will say tell it to update its markup, but
And
this
should
update
be enough.
no, well, so this update markup should it now it has indices because it's a child component. So
But wait, just before you code something, isn't the idea that basically you have a root component? The root component has, and it is the sole holder of the markup. And
yes,
every
exactly.
child of that root component, basically via these indexes, start and end index, so better like that.
Yeah.
It automatically knows what is his slice of the whole markup, and with that you can construct all the nodes and all the information.
Yeah. So I guess what we want is we want to say instead of well, okay, let's hack something together. Well, if dispose is fine, but we can also say if root is not null, then we know we should be doing one thing. Else, if we are the root, we should be generating markup. Now, here,
Exactly, that was my question. Why do we need such tricks? This apparently
because we only have one rendered. So I undid all the attempts of having a specific component that actually builds that calls HTMLizer and says, "Hey, build some root component." And here,
you removed it. Okay.
Yeah, and now I basically just want to say, go here. Well, and this is super.
You only need this case.
You want to say, I want to say markup here. Root is rendered component of root
bUnit
root component. Yep. My root. Here we go. So I can.
And you want to remove that not. You want to remove that not.
Oh.
On 152.
You are absolutely right. Yeah. So if that's the case, we can go and say markup and
just slice it.
Yes.
Like in brackets, huh? The how you call that? Array brackets, and then start dot end.
Yes, and I get that.
Isn't there an overload with the range? I thought that's the whole point of. And not without, with just two dots. And two dots. I hope you know. Yeah, this one. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that gives us the markup for this component. And I guess we want to do either way. We want to say last rendered node to be null.
And
so now we
only but this part HTMLizer we also only want to have in this if. Wait, now it's the ifs and else is completely the opposite way. You want to have it exactly vice versa. If you're root, you want to do HTMLizer get HTML, and if you're not, you want to do the opposite.
Yeah. No. So this is asking, do I like this is the property root? Yeah. So I think it's right.
Oh yeah. You know, you're right. I was confused in my head.
So let's see. Debug last run.
In your hair.
Oh, it's Friday.
Let's start with that.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so I'm in here, and root is null, so we go in and do the whole markup thing. And oh no. Step out, step out, step out. Oh, step out, step out, step out. God damn it.
Ah.
Oh, okay. And now, well,
There was something we saw also earlier, that permanently our
Yeah,
root is empty. We have to fix that. Can we check
Yeah.
how we define root?
so root is defined up here. So let's put a breakpoint when we are actually constructing our rendered components. So the test that we just ran, well, let's just debug that last run again.
I mean, we could also check if instance is bUnit root component.
Yeah. Let me just see my, where's call stack? I just want to make sure what test I'm actually running. Okay. So here we have a test return. Okay, this is a weird test I decided to run.
But it doesn't matter, because the wrapper we should see, and the wrapper should have one root. I guess that test is fine. As long as this is even a good test, because it's just one component.
So wrapper,
so we have root and wrapper.
Yeah, root and wrapper. Okay. Let's debug this guy.
Okay.
So let me pin.
What is instance right now?
Instance. Let me pin a few things for us here.
I like that as soon as you pin it, it's just nice and large.
Yeah. All right.
Oh boy, oh boy. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So now we are able to follow along, and we have instance, which is our bUnit root component. It doesn't have a root, which is fine. This is expected. So we try to cast it that it's parent. It's no, and so this is also null, and this is null. So our root ends up being null. Yeah. Okay. The next one we have is our container fragment. That should definitely have a parent. So, which means that our parent component state is the bUnit
component, and it is true. Awesome.
So now we have something, and we can say parent component dot root is null, but then we use
this one isn't.
Yes. So now we definitely have a root set here. Let me just pin this guy. So this is the root of the current component. It should be the bUnit root component. Now, let's do another take, and I guess we get to the wrapper.
Now the wrapper.
And
the parent rendered component.
It ends up getting.
No, it gets this one and then root, because this one is not.
Wait.
What? Why is that null?
Why is Why is that null?
What is parent rendered component? It's the container.
That's the one we were just inside of just now, and it has a root. So why wouldn't you pick that?
Can you go to the getter of root? Did we some magic in the getter? Can you show us the property, the root? Yeah.
Fuck me, sorry. And now we are in 18 plus. Damn it. God damn it.
But it doesn't look that.
No, it's here. This is literally because we have this. God damn it.
Why did we do it explicitly?
I think because
one time we're asking for the implicit one, and one time we just get the explicit one. So the CTOR obviously takes the explicit one, while the the other way around. Sorry.
No, yeah.
The one passed in is implicit, but then we try to get the explicit one, which makes no sense. I do understand why the logic is failing.
Okay, let me see. Let's see. We don't have a root in here. We have a root here. Yes. So I want to do implement interface, and now it's happy, and I only have one public root.
Yes.
And I can set that here.
No, now you have okay.
Yeah. So let's try that test again. Debug last run.
Okay. I will be back in half a second. I will listen to you. I just need something to drink.
Do your thing, man. So bUnit root component, everything is fine and dandy, and this root is null. That's good. Then we have our container fragment, and it should get the root as good. And now we have the wrapper, and now things are looking right. Okay, so we have our call to update markup, and for the let's skip that. Okay, and now I'm calling update here. Let's see, what is my call stack? It's from in here, and it's this one. And my return rendered component IDs, I only have one.
I am back.
Yes. So the return rendered component ID, it only has the 0 one. So I guess we update markup, we tell it that we are dirty. Once we are done updating the markup, we can say is dirty false. Oh, and another important step is that we, let's see, go back here, let's go back here, no, there we go. I want to be in my renderer, and I want to be here, and we do set it to dirty. We do update the render count. So I think there's 2 callbacks we have in the rendered component. We have the on after render, and we have on markup update. Let me just see if we have any references to that.
I hope for sure on the wait for helpers.
Yes, but that's on after render. So, and then we have the on markup updated. And let's see where we have references to that. So that would be in what file name are you? You are in refreshable connection. Yeah. So yeah, okay. So I guess
What is the question right now, if you want to trigger that now?
I'm trying to figure out when and how to trigger. So we have...
Wouldn't it be the best if we do not...
Obviously,
I mean,
here we have...
here's a best place.
On markup chain updated, right? We would say invoke on that. Right. And what do we pass into it? We pass in...
Center and arcs, probably this, and event arcs.empty.
Yeah, let me just see what we did before here. That would be down here. No, that would be down here, rather. So we say update state, we say render count update is markup change,
Yeah,
we call update markup, and we do basically this. And then there is a has rendered. So here,
but this we don't want to do now. Because that could interfere with wait for helpers and the order of things, because just because you are updated right now... Wait, you are the... Oh no, wait, when the parent is completely done, it should be fine. No, you're right.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is, what was the condition for saying, telling it to... basically we called update state, which has rendered and then has markup generation required. Go in here and say what was the condition for doing that. Let's see. Has rendered true, and that was just inside updated components. And update parents all the way up. I think honestly, I'll just do this for now.
Always. Independent whether or not there were changes.
Yes, because I think, what do I think? Well, okay.
Well, probably, yeah, it's a good first guess. I mean, if there are really no changes, like literally no changes, no, we will always call it now.
Let's debug again. So this is sort of, I think this is turning into be an excellent example of why you always want to do refactorings in small steps. And this is a super large step where we're doing all sorts of changes, and it becomes super hard to follow along. Like, you want to do as small steps as possible as you can, and then run all your tests and make sure everything is green, and then you do another step and another step and another step in small steps. Otherwise, it becomes super hard to So here we're just going through, and I'm confirming now that the things are working. So this is the first call where root is null, and it's because the component type is this is literally our.
It is the root.
It is the root component. Yeah.
bUnit root component.
Yeah. And we notify our friends that we've done changes, and then we get in here.
Now we should go in.
And that's actually
something awesome.
So no, it is not. It's. Oh, hang on, it is. Let me have a look here. Look. Oh, it's because we are running a different test than I expected. Never mind. Okay, so we step in here, and we have, and this is 94, and markup is, I don't know what that means, but it's, well, okay, so this is going to be the full thing.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you have a render fragment directly under the bUnit root component. That makes absolute sense.
And this is also the same thing. So yeah, this is not the most particularly interesting test when it comes to it. Now, okay, I guess this is a second render.
Maybe.
Did
Something
I just run
happened.
the same test twice?
No, because the end index is different. It was 94 before, now it's 98. So something changed for sure.
Have I created an endless loop? I might have created an endless loop. Let me just disable the breakpoint. Oh, no, I didn't.
No, you did not.
Had,
no, you did not.
So let's see if... Okay, so some 60 tests.
No, a few more green.
But yeah, well, I guess things are improving. Okay, 24. This feels super hacky right now, but yeah. Okay, so let's see if there's a hint as to why. Let me just show the ones that are actually failing. This seems like a render component updates itself if child's child is disposed. Well, okay, that seems like a fair test. So what do you do? You have
undisposed child.
So showing if it's and then toggle child and no params, and then we render find component. Is disposed, markup should be string empty, and what was the exception? But was hello world. Okay. Where let me find.
Can we?
I wanna, but just put a breakpoint in here in the.
Isn't that because we basically never say that the component, the root component, is dirty in this case? Exactly.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, let me. Yeah, I think you're right, but let's just debug through that. So we get in here, and let me just see what we have to deal with. That is disposed component 0. So this is just going to be the normal initial render. So let me just hit a 5. And we are back here. And now we have one disposed component. So we go in here and we find the component and we just remove it.
Exactly. An updated component probably is empty. Oh no, there's something in.
No, there's one there, and which is component 2.
Oh.
So we go up to the root and say it's dirty. So I guess
Interesting. But what's the issue?
Oh no! So I think the problem is that rendered component is dirty. Update markup. We've done that. Now here we have a return component. We have 3 return components, but it's not dirty, so it's not going to update itself. This is not dirty, so it's going to update itself. And this is dirty.
Which one? Which ID?
2.
Okay, that's the
ID
child,
2.
which is disposed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And let's go into back to the test again. I'm going to put a breakpoint here to see which one it is actually. So my child, that's
but
true,
that makes sense.
Disposed. Yeah, and that is the let's see.
If you go back, basically.
This is component ID 3, but component ID 2, which I'm also looking at. No, cut. What is your ID? That is ID component 1. So that was not dirty. So the thing is, we didn't update. So I think if we go into our rendered component, I was expecting this dispose method to get called because we want to tell. I guess we want to tell everybody in the all the way up the tree, not just the root, but the parent and then child and all the way up. So let's rerun that. So, okay, now our component with
which ID?
I'm guessing locals. It's component ID 3.
Yeah.
Yep. So we go in, you disposed, root is not null, so we're going to tell root that you be dirty. But we didn't tell the components higher up that they were. But so we could do that. But we could also just skip this. Yeah, so that's a thing here. Like when we do update markup, we go and, well, let me go to the code actually. Here we go and mark. I guess what we want to do is we just want to, let's do this. This is dirty. True here. If we are rendering something and we are updating indices, then you are dirty by definition, right? So I think that'll solve it.
Is this true? You were dirty. That's why we called that method.
No, but so we have whiteboard. I don't have time. So we had a component one does number 0, a root component, got marked as dirty. Component number 1 and component number 2 are the container and the one of the the child something, and then component number 3, which is the lower component, gets disposed. It just tells its root component that it's dirty. And then component number 2, for some reason, has a change, so that gets marked as dirty. But this component number 1 in the test, the thing that is returned back to us, which is the thing that doesn't get marked as dirty, so it doesn't update its markup because it's not marked as dirty, so it doesn't call here, right? So I think by explicitly having this set in here, whenever we set the markup indices for a render component, we also mark it as dirty in case it isn't already marked as dirty. Because otherwise, the only place that we call mark as dirty would be if it's part of the
if it has changes.
Yeah, exactly. But you can have if the root component updates its markup, and that's like you have a sibling that has been disposed, that means that your indices move up. So even if you're
every parent basically has to change itself for
by the way,
indices.
I do want to do this so people can see a bit better, I guess. So what I did, and I don't know if you see that. I guess you see that. No, I don't. Probably not. So
no, right now, no.
What I did is I moved us down to the lower right corner instead of having us on the side. Excuse me. So if we go back and enable all the tests. And collapse them. Okay.
Oh, 6.
I'm a bit in shock that, and actually it's only 3.
Yeah, basically,
so,
yes. That's
yeah. I have no idea why this
the
is
nodes.
so
The
well.
nodes we never touched.
Node should return the same instance when re-render does not cause the DOM to change.
I'm pretty certain that, by the way, not even 1.13 is failing, but 1.12, because our render count might be different now.
So, what is this? Render events for non-rendered subcomponents are not emitted. And I guess...
we emit this literally right now, all the time.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And what is in here? Render component updates.
I thought I renamed that. That class name is horribly wrong. No, the file. Oh, also the file name is screwed.
bUnit rendered bUnits. yeah. Oh, that's one of those.
My regex. I guess my regex didn't work.
No,
Jesus.
So this should be bUnit renderer test.
Test. I guess no singular. I guess I'm not sure.
I can't remember what we're doing. Let me see.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Go ahead and sync up, please. No. Oh, dang it. No, I don't want a diagram. Go away.
Maybe.
Oh, we just used test. Yeah. There we go. And no, it's not a spelling mistake. I like how it's super. Some of the UI is like completely blown up, and the other parts are well, not.
Question is if this is only in the preview, or is it?
No, I think it's because
if you would have said that from the get-go in the preview version, would have had worked. Probably.
I think it's because in the non-preview version, I changed the environment, which is then font size, which is all the other bits. And I think the preview installation picked up on that, but it doesn't really handle it right. So that I think that's what's going on here. Now, Node should return the same. So let's go and have a look at this type here. It's one of those.
It's down there. That's why. It's just down there as a private class.
It's
no.
It's literally just this one. Button, click to render again, and that should cause a re-render, which is, and then but there's no markup change, so render count is incremented, but the child nodes should stay the same.
Yeah.
Shouldn't.
Okay.
So I guess if we go into nope, this one. We only want to, so this is where we sort of, so when we set this to null, our nodes,
isn't it exactly where you want to have those flags you removed earlier?
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
div edits.
I guess so. The condition for us, I am going to, instead of doing this, I'm going to go to the commit before that and just go in here and look at the, because it's going to be much easier to grasp what's going on. Don't have. So that would be down in, nope. Nope. It would be here. So previously we would say, have you rendered? Yes. Do you have any markup changes?
Exactly.
So
Yes,
that was the case here where we said if, what's going on here? So we should render component if we have update. So this is the second parameter, and we just looked at if there's any edits in here. And that would be the reason for us dropping the rendered nodes. And then we go to update parent and we say, have you rendered?
Only, yeah, exactly. And only do this flag if there are
Has
changes.
changes. Yeah, and has changes.
Yeah.
So we move up the tree up to the parent all the way up to the top.
So has rendered probably you can always invoke. That's fine. But markup generated probably not. Yeah, we also did this before. Has rendered was always invoked. Always.
So I guess update markup is 30.
I mean, in theory, you could say like, okay, if it's dirty, we should also throw that event. But as we basically always say now it's dirty, I guess it doesn't make much of a difference anymore.
Okay, so I guess that's it's not ideal, but we can do this and say, hey, if, whoops.
You want to check the old one, old markup?
So yeah, it's like I said, it's if markup is different from new markup. Well, and no, I'm new markup, and we probably don't need to even do the. Well, I guess there's interlock.
Maybe
in exchange. Yeah. So this is for now. It's not.
It serves the same purpose. It doesn't matter.
So,
To be honest.
so the whole reason for folks might be wondering why we are using volatile is because if you are running your test and they are running on a different CPU core than the renderer rather is running on a different CPU core than the core your test is running on, just updating the fields, it might not make it visible over on the other core, depending on your CPU architecture immediately. So volatile basically it forces it to write it back to cache, so it's not just in the level 1 cache in the core you're running on right now. But let me just do an else. No change. And I want to do a breakpoint in here just to see if this particular test is actually
before you do that, you also want to too late. The on markup updated should also be, or you want to have it as a flag somewhere and just invoke that only if that happens.
You are right. Let me just, so on markup updated, that would happen either here or here. Right. On after render should increment. That's just.
You could also make this optimization in the root component, even though that's less likely to happen. That the actual markup
well,
is the same.
I think my goal right now would be to just get all the test passing. And then we can start to clean up, because there's certainly a whole bunch of unnecessary work going on right now. Oh no, I don't want to stop debugging. I want to.
Oh, where's your debugger right now?
Oh, I guess I accidentally killed it instead of doing what I intended to do.
But you're not hitting any breakpoint?
No. So another thing, I only want to do this in case I'm actually doing new markup again. So move that in here.
And move it down there.
And down here, yeah. Otherwise, it's not going to work. But yeah, no, I didn't run in debug mode, I think. Let's try it again. So yeah, I hit it here, and we have markup, which is the button something, and this is the same thing in here.
Which is actually absolutely the same.
Yeah, and same again. So, okay, so did the test pass? I guess it passed because we have one less now.
Oh yeah. Now multiple other tests are just failing. That would be so nice. Oh no. Ooh.
Oh, no, we're down to 4. It's the old good whack-a-mole here. So let's see. The wrapper render count should be 2, but what was you? You
was 1. That is okay because it doesn't change in this instance. Well, that's the logic you wrote. Yes. So what does first do? So if first doesn't have any event which influences the parent, obviously it doesn't increase its count.
So we tell the first one to re-render itself. So I think the hierarchy is we have 2 components. We have
wrapper
first and
first,
we have
second.
Yeah. Then we find the. So when I tell
and first
the
and second
one,
are siblings.
Yeah. So when I tell the first one to re-render, it should and right now online so the parent, the wrapper doesn't increment its count. So I guess
which makes sense because there is no change. You just call render again, no parameter change, nothing changed. The markup is still the same as before.
Yes.
But didn't we put the render count in the for loop? I understand that on markup update it will never be called, which you could argue makes sense because you have absolutely 0 changes. But the render count, that is interesting.
Yeah, so the render count, so what we, I guess, apparently had in V1 and previously in V2 before we started breaking things, was that when a child rendered, we also considered the parent to have rendered, like done a re-render.
Okay, yeah.
So
which is not necessarily true.
No, but I guess if I no, well, okay, so we have this here. So let's say like on
after render.
Yeah, I'm trying to see, like, does this method's lifecycle methods actually get invoked? And I guess so. Let's do override set. So this is the base. Like this is the parameter. This is the method that gets called when things happen. I know. I know. I'm not really doing anything here. Let's go back to the test, and then we have simple one, and we can also override its set parameters async. Put a breakpoint in there. Now go back to the test again, and see debug. Come on, builds. You can do it. So this is the first time we get called in here. So that would be 1. And then each of the 2 simple ones get called. Okay. Hang on. It's hard to follow along when I don't have breakpoints in my tests. So let's say here we validate our first before I'll have a breakpoint in here so we know when we're supposed to expect things to happen. So this is just the initial render, 1, 2, 3, and now we call first.render. So let me just put a breakpoint right after, just so we know. Okay, so it jumped straight into symbol 1, and I am guessing this. Yeah.
This is the where we call render on.
Yeah. And if it had child content now. Okay, so render count is still 1. This is 2, this is 1. So I guess this is actually more correct than what we originally had.
I'm just interested, but I still think it's not correct. I would even argue we should see the inverted picture. I do agree the render count should be 1, absolutely. First should also be 2 because we call explicitly render, but because we call first.render and you're right. Second is not the child of first, it's a sibling. No, absolutely, I'm with you. Sorry, that was my fault.
Yeah.
It's just a sibling.
Yes.
But in general, the question is, does this test have much value for us? Like in general? It's not like we wanna model the same render count behavior as the Blazor renderer itself.
Well, so but here's the thing. What we just verified is that we are actually doing well. So this test is at odds with what is really going on, because you can see when we called. Let me go back to the test. When we called this one, the set parameters async was only getting called on the first symbol 1 component. It wasn't getting called on. So in Blazor terms, the lifecycle methods of 2 components wrapper never executed in this particular case. Right.
Yeah,
so there was no lifecycle run. So I think our original way we set it up.
That render count doesn't necessarily reflect that. We set this render count arbitrary from whether or not your lifecycle or a specific lifecycle method was invoked or not.
Yes, but if you look at the description we've actually written, gets the total number of times the fragment has been through its render lifecycle, which is actually incorrect because we didn't, like previously we would bubble up. We would basically say, okay, first is rendering, so I'm going to tell its parent that, hey, I've rendered, you also read. And I think the reason we did that was because if the first changed its markup, we wanted to tell the parent that, hey, because the child has changed, your markup has also changed because your child is inside.
Exactly.
So, but
and you always contain that markup.
Yeah. But now we just tell the root component that some child somewhere in your hierarchy changed. And that means that you should just redo your full markup and tell all your children that,
just
hey, your
recalculate your slice of the whole pie.
Yeah, exactly. So I am inclined to say this should actually be 1.
This is also fine for me. And here it should be 1, 2, 2.
Yes, I think this might make this test pass. Let's just give it a go. So that would also change slightly, like for our users, that if we stay with this change we're getting ourselves into here.
But we didn't expose render count, did we?
Yes, it's definitely a public thing.
Because I thought it was a pub internal. Okay.
No. I think it's definitely a public thing.
That I thought in V1 we only exposed it via wait for that. Hey, your render count was 3.
I might be wrong. But
no one could.
Let's double check. API reference, render count. I was
no, I guess it's a
sure
total thing. I'm pretty certain, by the way, that this is a pub. I mean, there's no pub internal. It's just literally internal. bUnit web.
Oh.
No, it's part of the rendered component. That should be in bUnit web.
I think
the rendered component. Nah. There's only the rendered fragment.
I think it's rendered. No.
You can also go to the search, the file search, and just type in rendered component. Maybe that makes it much easier.
Yeah, I think.
Or I rendered I mean, that thing is internal, so that doesn't count. Maybe oh yeah, we should go to iRendered component. I'm so sorry. I forgot that these iRendered component base. I'm not even sure which one we need right now. Too many times.
Nodes, no, yeah, that, yeah. iRendered component base.
Compo.
Go. Instance.
Global Meganet.
Oh no, yeah, it's this one I want. Damn it. Here we go. Render card.
There's a render card. Okay.
It is, yeah. And it has that description. How many times did we re-render? Well, I'm actually fine. Like normally when we do these kinds of major refactor, I don't want to change any tests at all. But I think in this particular case, I think that was actually a mistake. And this is a mistake in V1, but we can't change that because some people might be asserting against that. So yeah. And here we have one more similar render component updates on re-renders from child components with changes in render tree. So this is actually a test specifically that does that. We have something that has params.
That behavior.
Yeah, and we have render trigger. So, well, we can go in here and do the same again, like override set parameters async. I just want to see if this actually call. But so the parent would re-render if the child had, like if you had an event called back in the child and the child triggers that and the parent is listening to that, then the parent would re-render. Let's see, render trigger.
But that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it could influence your own markup.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we want. Let me just debug through this. And before we call that method there, come on. I do feel my CC is slightly slower than normal. Okay, yeah, no change. Okay, so now we're gonna trigger this. Oh no, don't evaluate the expression. Just keep going. It's fine. Visual Studio, you don't have to. It's fine. Cancel. Oh. And yeah, no, it didn't hit. Yeah, okay, so these two tests are basically the tests that because we're changing.
But probably you should also rename the test.
Yeah, well, I guess the test is completely irrelevant now. Because it just...
Yeah, we have basically the other test you rewrote is basically what, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess this one goes away. Now, let me just say, okay, so by some magic of lock and dump lock and other things, we've actually managed to get all the tests passing again. I still think there is a heavy amount of refactoring to be done here. So let me just get an overview of what changed actually. So yeah, there is some tests. Oh yeah, these are just things where I can just undo. Let me just actually do that down here. So these are fine. This I just want to undo. That one we definitely want to keep. This is a rename situation. Yeah,
I wonder why.
To keep as well. Yeah.
I mean, I know why.
Somebody fat fingered the regex. Okay, and this we can.
Yeah, you can revert this as well.
Revert that. And
not
these
this
are
one.
just name changes. This is just a rename, reformat. This is fine. These are fine. Okay, so let me, before we do anything else, just doubly check that all the tests are still good to go. And they are all green. Now, then there is a whole bunch of more things here. Yeah, okay. Let me just call this a VIP, but
that's fine. That's fine.
Refactor VIP. Only generate markup for root component. components. And let me...
What? Ooh.
No sharing of passwords here today. All right.
What?
I'm going to force push
Yeah,
this to
no,
a
we
feature
didn't.
branch.
I was like,
Yeah. All right, yeah. Yes. Okay. I think because you had to run, right?
yes.
Yeah, half an hour ago actually. So
Yeah, well.
I'll pop us up just to the two of us on screen now. So I don't think it's going to be a next week, right? Because you are on holiday.
Unfortunately, I'm not exactly.
And I might actually be on holiday as well. We are
Awesome.
trying to see if we're, because there's a, I think it's like some Christian thing, right? And I think the school is closed. So
Yesterday was.
yeah, yesterday was, but I think also Friday is also. Then there's Monday as well. So that's like
Oh yeah, your
extended
Monday is.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes.
So at least school is closed for my kids as well. So I think we might be heading up north with the family. So I'll
Awesome.
if things work out and we are able to do that, I won't be streaming either. But I think and then you had 2 weeks, right? You had both next Friday and Friday after.
Exactly. Yeah, I am not in for 2 weeks straight now.
Okay, so I might jump online by myself the Friday after, and maybe I'll just do a bit of HTMXer then development. But I think what we are in a good spot to sort of go back and clean up our rendered component a bit the next time, and maybe do that thing I started to attempt where I wanted to. I wanted to have like a specialized render component, which is the rendered root component, which has other functionality. Yeah. Instead of
and remove some of the functions.
Yes, exactly. So do some work there. I think we can also instead of, so right now we've taken out one problem. We're only generating markup once per the root component, but we're not doing it for all the child components. But the next step would also be to go in and tweak such that we are not generating
too much markup.
No, I mean so we're not. So what I'm looking for here. So yeah, we want to avoid creating the angle sharp nodes in each of the components, right? Because we can also create them in the root, and then we just need to find a way to associate some of the nodes in the angle sharp DOM tree with each of the components. So we have the same effect as we had before, because that was solving one of the issues that some had reported to us back a couple of years ago, was that if I have two components, they, like, the nodes are not, like, the instances are not equal to each
Connected.
other. Yes. So we want to have one set of DOM nodes, and we want to have one set of one markup string, original string. And maybe there's other optimizations we can do where we say this, instead of, like, right now we're just doing the substring, basically taking from the master, we're just taking copying, basically we're doing a string copy, which is, maybe there's a way to it's okay, yeah, but maybe we could also just do like a reference to that, like do instead of having a full copy, we can just
I mean, basically,
memory
if you
span
also save, if you, I mean, it would be even easier if you know basically of every of your children where the start and end was. You can just check.
Yeah.
Okay, from there on, you can say, okay, I know this component is the first one which changed, so let's only update that slice. But yeah.
Actually, I think I know that you have to run, Stephen. So, but what I will do after you've gone, I will, and we sort of said goodbye in the stream, I will go in and create a PR for our work in progress here, and I will add some notes to it so we don't have to spend half an hour next time trying to figure out what we were doing. So at least we will have a starting point. I will try to do,
especially because it takes 2 or 3 weeks now for us. So yes, absolutely.
So I'll try to do a quick breakdown so we know where we left off. So we have a chance of reminding ourselves next time. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Stephen. Have an excellent vacation. Hopefully, I'll see you in 3 weeks, all fresh and ready to code some more. And
Of course.
everybody who might be watching this in the future, thank you very much for coding with us, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.